Well, we're just grasping at straws on what's going on?
I told them I was coming, so I could sleep in bed. I just happened to have a few. How are you? Good, it's good.
I know that. Excuse me, Bill. Hi. How are you? Say hi. I rushed right into my sentence. Michelle Green. I know you met her, but I wanted Bill to meet her. She's another one of the Townsend contingency who's going to be here. So if people like text me, a lot of times I don't realize I must have to turn something on to make me alert myself. Like I don't hear it. Yeah, and I must have it off or down or something. He was giving me some strategy ideas. Yeah. Want a picture? Sure. All right. I don't know if you want a picture. She's the head of the vice chairman of the state party.
I'd love to get you chatting though.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Wow. I wanted to. Everybody here, I just want to say thank you, because looking around the room, we're certainly a very unified group, and I think that we've proven that our unity has made us stronger. I am hoping, and I have reached out to the other side with hopes that we could maybe mend some fences, and I'm going to continue to try to do that, and I would encourage any of you to do that, because I think although Connie, Sullivan, and I didn't always agree on absolutely everything, on major issues before the Commonwealth and principles that we want to bring forth to the legislature. The next morning we were kind of up and running and starting to plan very, very early in the morning, and we've continued to try to come up with some planning. But I think we're in a strong footing. I think that going through the primary, a lot of us anyway, not having been involved in politics or public office or running campaigns before, it was a great learning experience, and it was a successful learning experience. So we saw where we had some holes that we want to fix this time around, and I think we're going to come in much stronger this time around with that knowledge in our heads to go forward. As I've told you before, and I will continue to say to the people that we meet, the main issues that are on the table right now, and the main issues that I am concerned with are jobs, taxes, and economy. As I always say, I can't say it's one thing, because I think the three of them are so intertwined that they all need to be remedied to some extent to work with each other. Certainly, most importantly, excuse me, I'm still hoarse from last week. Most importantly, we need to bring jobs, good jobs, back to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That's first and foremost. And to do that, we need to have a legislature that will support corporate tax reduction, reduction of regulations, changing in the permitting process, and then looking at a lot of other creative ideas. I actually, as I said, I hope I never have the arrogance not to keep looking to other people for their input and their advice, because by doing that, over these last 10 months, I found out so much about the situation with our business climate that I wouldn't have known had I not gone out and asked the people. So I will always hope to be in a position that people will feel free to come to me. Any of you, anything you hear, I guess we have to look at the job situation as everything is on the table, every idea, we need to look at everything. In addition, we need to reduce the spending in our own state government, which will afford us the opportunity to ultimately reduce the taxes. As you may or may not know, there's actually been a Democratic majority in the legislature, and I know that may come as news to you, but because of that, there really hasn't been the checks and balances that we need to get our economy going. We need to have a balanced legislature, and I don't think the unbalanced legislature is working for anyone, Democrats or Republicans, and I think that with a more balanced legislature, the $1.2 billion in cuts that were brought forward by the Republican minority would not be summarily dismissed in the same way that they were this year. I know there are a lot of different people that say, oh, you're cutting more jobs if you cut state jobs, but we are no longer able to support, we are not a people working to support the government. That whole concept has gotten a little twisted. The government supports us, and we can't just adding to our debt, adding to our taxes, adding to the backs of the small business owners just to support a huge government. So more than anything, cuts need to take place, and I intend to be part of that more balanced legislature that is going to fight tenaciously to cut the spending so that we can reduce the income tax to what voters have always wanted it to be and voted it to be, as well as bring the sales tax back down to the 5%. There's a lot of other things on the table. Obviously, I've discussed them with you at many other things, but another part of that, kind of dovetailing into that, is the pension reform. I think there will be ways, of doing that will be reasonable ways that won't, I don't want anyone to think or walk away from here thinking, oh, she's against state employees. I certainly am not. I would never want them to be in a worse position than the rest of the public, but they shouldn't be they should be in sync with the public. Obviously, the 401k system would probably bring that a little bit more in line with the private sector, and I would encourage that, as well as several other reforms that have been proposed. So I don't want to keep you here. Most of you, I'm preaching to the choir because you've heard me many times, but I also think it's important that when you talk to people, you know my priorities so that you can articulate those same priorities to people that you meet, because we're a huge marketing group here for this seat that we really need to get. We really need to have this seat. It would be almost more catastrophic in our area due to the fact that it's losing a seat that was there to somewhat try to at least have influence in the minority legislature of the Republican Party. But we need it. We need it like every other district needs it, but we certainly can't lose this seat. So I just encourage all of you to, anyone you meet, anyone who wants to listen to you, tell them a little bit, if you can, about me, about my campaign, about what we stand for. And I think moving forward, we have a short period of time. I shouldn't be hoarse by the next few days. I should be back out to my usual talking all the time state. But we all can be doing that, and we all need to be doing that now because time is a lot shorter, and we really need to get up and get running. And we have lots of jobs for everyone to do. And we're going to be setting up meetings with individual towns and individual committees so that we can do that. So.